Welcome to this lesson to help you learn English with the news. We're going to read a news article together, and you're going to learn a lot of advanced vocabulary, complex sentence structure, advanced grammar, and even correct pronunciation directly by reading this article with me. Welcome back to JForrest English Training. Of course, I'm Jennifer, and this is your place to become a fluent, confident English speaker. Let's get started. Welcome to our article. Let me read the headline. Elon Musk says he will resign as Twitter CEO after securing successor. Now let me read the subheadline. So this is the main headline, and then we have a subheadline which is designed to give you a little more information about the topic. The billionaire posted a poll over the weekend asking Twitter users if he should step down. The majority voted yes. All right, going back to our headline, resign. This is very important to the topic of the article. So to resign, this is a verb, and this is a way of saying that you quit. You voluntarily leave your position. It's just a more formal way of saying that. Let me write this for you. So it is to voluntarily, which means you chose to. Nobody said you must leave your job. That means you're fired. When you say, I don't want to work here anymore, that means you quit, or again, more formally, resign. To voluntarily leave your employment, your position. So in this case, his position as CEO, which is of course an acronym for Chief Executive Officer, which is the top ranking position in a company. Now notice here grammatically, we have the word after, which is a preposition. Now what do you notice right here? We have our gerund verb, secure, to secure. That's the base verb, to secure. And because to secure, this is the base. Now, because I have after, which is a preposition, my verb that follows must be in the gerund form, which is the ing form. To secure in this context is a more formal way of saying find, to find a successor. Now, what is a successor? Already we've reviewed a lot in this headline here. A successor, hopefully you can understand based on context, which is why reviewing articles is so helpful, because based on the context, well, the successor is the person who will replace Elon Musk as CEO. So it's the person who comes after you as a leader. So you have old leader. So leader in the sense of a employment within the company. It could be a boss, a manager, a supervisor, or it could be a politician, a president, a prime minister. So you have your old leader and the new leader. And the new leader is the successor. I'll put it up here. And the old leader is the predecessor. I don't think you need to worry about it too much, but successor is more common. All right. So that's the headline here. So basically, Elon Musk is leaving his position. He's resigning, but they need to find someone new, the person who will act as CEO, and that's the successor. The billionaire posted a poll over the weekend asking Twitter users if he should step down. The majority voted yes. All right, let's look at this. This is a nice phrasal verb, to step down. Now again, based on the context, he's going to resign, leave his position, quit. They all mean the same thing. So step down is the phrasal verb to mean resign from a position. So to voluntarily leave a position, now notice I included title. Title could be, for example, the coach of a sports team or the leader of a community organization. And maybe in that case, the leader of a community organization, maybe you're the leader of your church group or just a community group, and you don't get paid for that. It's just a volunteer position, but you could still step down. You could leave it. So I want to show you the grammar here because we would say Elon Musk stepped down, assuming it's complete, past simple, stepped down as CEO, So we use the preposition as, and then we state the title as CEO, as manager, as captain of a sports team, for example, as the leader. So you can have the title there. So in our case, it's CEO. Stepped down. This is our phrasal verb conjugated, plus our preposition, and then we have as job title. Let's continue on. Elon Musk on Tuesday claimed he will resign as CEO of Twitter once he has found a replacement. Now, what's the alternative word for replacement? The one we learned right here in the headline, successor. So they're saying the exact same thing as this headline. They're just choosing to use different vocabulary because we have resign. Well, we used that before. And now we have replacement instead of successor. So you could say here, successor. And remember, once a successor has been appointed, Elon Musk will be the predecessor, the person who previously had the position. So replacement can be successor. Okay, let's continue on. So notice it's in a quote, which means these words are coming from Elon Musk's mouth. He said these words. I will resign as CEO as soon as I find someone foolish enough to take the job. After that, I will just run the software and servers teams, the billionaire tweeted. Okay, so he tweeted this, but it's still coming from him directly. In this case, it's coming from his fingers instead of his mouth, but it's still a quote because it's reporting what he said. So resign as, notice we're using the preposition as with the job title as well. Now take the job. This is the same as finding a replacement, finding a successor. So again, it's just a different way to say the same thing. Notice how he says foolish enough. Foolish. When we describe something as foolish, this is a negative adjective because foolish means unwise, stupid, or not showing good judgment. So this is a negative adjective. So Elon Musk is saying that it isn't a wise decision to become my successor, to take over as CEO. You could say, it was foolish of me to step down as captain. It was foolish of me. It was unwise, stupid. It didn't show good judgment. So it's a way of saying I regret my decision. Now, a lot of students have this fear of speaking because they think that they're going to sound foolish or look foolish. I'm afraid of looking foolish when I speak, which means you're afraid of looking stupid, to be honest, of people judging you negatively because if you use the wrong vocabulary or your pronunciation isn't very good, then it could look negative, right? Now, this is a fear that a lot of students have. I'm afraid of looking foolish when I speak. So a very common adjective, but remember, it is very negative as well. All right, let's continue on. After that, I will just run the software and servers teams, the billionaire tweeted. So the verb run in this context, and this is what's important about learning with the news, because you understand the context. Because if you just see the word run, well, does it mean to run? Or does it mean run the software team? Which is another way of saying leading, to just lead, to match the verb tense, to just lead, manage the software and servers teams. So you could say, I ran the marketing team for five years. Now notice my verb is in the past simple, right? Run, ran, run. If I say, I've run the marketing team for 5 years, what's the difference between I ran the marketing team and I've run the marketing team? Well, of course, it's our verb tense because this is the past simple, which means it's a completed action. I no longer do this action. Let me make this a little bit smaller. I no longer do this. It's complete. It's in the past. But if I say I've run the marketing team for 5 years, this is the present continuous. Sorry, the present perfect. Present perfect. And it means this is an action that started in the past but continues until now. So today, I run the marketing team. The action is still in progress, but I use the present perfect simply to show that it started in the past. I see lots of mistakes with these two verb tenses, so pay attention to this part of the lesson. Let's continue on. On Sunday, Musk posted a poll on the social media platform asking users if he should step down as its head and said he would abide by the results. So we already learned this phrasal verb to step down, to voluntarily leave the position. Again, the same as resign or quit. Resign is more formal. And as its head. So head of means the leader. We use the word head to mean the leader, the boss, the CEO, the head. It's is Twitter. They're talking about the company Twitter. Okay. Now, abide by. This is a phrasal verb because we have the verb to abide and then we have the preposition by. And this simply means to follow the rules, to follow the rules or regulations. When you travel in a foreign country, you must abide by its rules. It being the country you're traveling to. So if you go to the US, you have to follow the traffic rules and all the other rules and regulations. You have to abide by, so to follow. Abide by, it's a more formal phrasal verb. We tend to use it with rules and regulations from the government or from a large company as a whole. So basically, Musk said that he will follow the results of the poll. So if the majority say you should leave, then he will follow that, abide by that, and leave his position. He will resign and find a successor, a replacement, which will make Musk the predecessor, the old leader of the position. More than 17.5 million votes were cast. Did you vote? I didn't vote because I didn't know about this. I don't really use Twitter. Do you use Twitter? What do you think? Should Elon Musk resign as CEO? Share your opinion in the comments below. So you cast a vote. That's just the verb we use, to cast. This is pretty specific to voting. But if you want to talk about voting, then you can use this, to cast a vote. A majority, 57.5 voted yes. So of course, majority is just plus 50%, right? Plus 50%. So 50.5% or more, that's the majority. If it's 50-50, well then there isn't a majority. It's even. But the second it becomes 50.5, then that is a majority. I'm sure you know what a majority means, but it is useful to have in your vocabulary. So let me give you an example of how we commonly use it. The majority of people voted yes. The majority of employees want to work from home. So you can use the majority of, and then you have your noun. You have a plural noun. People is plural. Person is one. One person, two people. People is plural. Employees has an S, so it's plural. Because if it's the majority, the noun has to be more than one. So that's our sentence structure. I need more space. The majority of, and then you need a plural noun. And then after that, you can have many different verb tenses depending on the sentence structure. So that can be flexible, but you want a plural noun with this. Okay, so that's a useful sentence structure for you. Shortly after, what did we learn about after already? What is it? A preposition. So we need our verb in ing. Shortly after posting the poll, Musk had said he did not have anyone lined up to take over. All right. So, lined up. This is a way of saying that someone is ready and available for the position. Okay, it's a phrasal verb, to line up. Now, this is the difficult part, I will say, about vocabulary and especially phrasal verbs. They have more than one meaning depending on context. So to line up is when you get in a row of people. To line up. The people lined up at the entrance. But in this case, to line someone up means to have somebody ready, able, prepared, available to do something. Okay, so you might say, we use this a lot in a work context. Do you have anyone lined up to present? So this is what they're going to do, present. So do you have anyone ready, available to present? That would be how I would translate it. Do you have anyone ready to present? Do you have anyone available to present? You could also say, we have a great presenter lined up. Okay? So we have a great presenter ready. We have a great presenter available. We have a great presenter lined up. Musk had said he does not have anyone ready to become CEO. To take over is, so Musk has the position now. To take over is when someone else becomes the CEO. So to take responsibility for something. And in this case, it's the position. To take responsibility. We commonly use this in a employment situation, but you could say, can you take over this project while I'm on vacation? Which means, can you take responsibility while I'm on vacation? All right, let's continue on. Musk appointed himself CEO less than 2 months ago. I didn't know that. Only 2 months he's been in the position. Shortly after finalizing his $44 billion takeover of Twitter at the end of October, that's a lot of zeros, $44 billion. He immediately dissolved the company's board of directors, fired top executives, and laid off around half the company's workforce. I created another lesson specifically on Learn English with the News, talking about Elon Musk becoming CEO of Twitter, and I reviewed some of the vocabulary right here. So I'm going to leave a link to that lesson in the description, and you can learn more of this vocabulary in that separate lesson. I don't want to explain it again. All right, let's continue on. Since then, the self-avowed free speech absolutist has made a long list of erratic changes to the company's policies, including those pertaining to content moderation, suspended users, and promotion of competitors. Let me explain this adjective. I think it's quite useful. Erratic. We use it enough. Now, this means, okay, erratic is an adjective, and it is moving or behaving in a way that is not regular, certain, or expected. So again, it's more of a negative adjective. We use it to describe one's behavior or actions in a negative way. So you could say, my boss is very erratic. Yesterday, he hired a marketing firm, and today he fired them. So one day he wants them. Yeah, they're great. Let's hire this marketing team. But then the next day, after one day, he fired them. So yes, no, yes, no. It's not the way you would expect him to behave. So his decision making can change very frequently. You can describe that person as erratic. We often use this in specifically for driving. My husband is an erratic driver. In this case, it might mean, if you're driving on the highway, you expect the behavior to be certain, expected. You're going to go straight, right? But erratic would be, you go this way, and then you speed up, and then you slow down, and you change lanes, and then you change lanes, and then you drive slow, you drive fast. So it's constantly changing. It's not what you would expect a driver to do. So we use that a lot with driving, traffic. The traffic was very erratic. It was very busy 1 second, and then no traffic, and then traffic, and then no traffic. So it kept changing. So when something changes a lot, decision making for behavior, we do it a lot with decision making. Then you can describe that person or that action, like driving, as erratic, which is the adjective. Okay, let's continue on. He has repeatedly made and then reversed decisions seemingly on personal whims and enacted major changes on the platform based on yes or no Twitter polls. Like right now, he's basing his decision to stay as CEO or leave as CEO, step down as CEO based on this poll. Maybe you could say that's very erratic. Only 2 months ago, he became the CEO. He paid $44 billion and now he's stepping down as CEO. That could be described as erratic. I really like this, a whim, on personal whims. Let me explain what this means. This is an idiom, on a whim. Now, this means, so a whim, this is a whim, a sudden wish or idea, especially one that cannot be reasonably explained. And we often use this in, well, let me give you an example sentence. I quit my job on a whim. On a whim. We don't commonly use it with personal. I don't see this quite a lot because whims are personal. So I don't think it adds anything to say personal because that's generally where they come from, yourself. So I don't think that word is needed. You can get rid of it. And notice, on a whim. Now, they have on, they don't use the article a. Do you know why in this example? Because whims is plural. So you don't use the article a if there's a plural, but it's more commonly used like this, on a whim. So I recommend adding it like this. So we use it, you do an action, I quit my job. Now, if you want to suggest that you didn't think about it very much and you can't even really explain why you quit, it's like, I just had this feeling. I was at work and I decided suddenly, I can't even tell you why. I don't have a good decision. I quit my job on a whim. Some might consider that a good thing. Some might consider that a bad thing. It depends on your preferences, I guess. For me, to be honest, I tend to travel on a whim. So I could say I booked a trip to Germany on a whim. I don't generally think too much about the trips I take. It's just one day I decide I want to go to Germany and the next day I book a ticket. So I tend to do that on a whim. So what about you? Do you do things on a whim, more impulsively? Or are you the type of person that really thinks things through? I'm sure it depends. It depends on the situation, right? Maybe there are some things you would do on a whim. For example, let's say, okay, so I have long hair. Let's say one day I wake up and I say, I want to cut my hair to here. And I get my hair cut. And then someone could say, wow, oh my gosh, you cut your hair. And I could say, yeah, I did it on a whim. So I didn't think about it too much. I had the idea, I want to cut my hair, and I did it on a whim. So I think it's a really great expression. So remember, you do an action and then you can add on a whim. Try one in the comment section. Try an example. Okay, finally, last week, he attracted enormous backlash after Twitter suddenly and without explanation suspended several prominent tech journalists who had reported on him. He later accused them of effectively sharing his assassination coordinates by reporting on a Twitter account that tracked his private plane's flights. All right, an assassination is when someone murders someone and it was planned. Like President JFK was assassinated. He was murdered and somebody planned that. So Elon Musk is saying that this journalist gave his flight plan. So basically, they posted Elon Musk is going to be in Germany on this date at this time. So if somebody wanted to attack Elon Musk and kill him, well, now they know where he's going to be, when he's going to be there. So it would be easy to plan that. So that's what it means by assassination coordinates. I'm just explaining that because you're probably curious. All right, so that is our article. You learned a lot from this article. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the article from start to finish so you can focus on my pronunciation and you can imitate my pronunciation. Elon Musk says he will resign as Twitter CEO after securing successor. The billionaire posted a poll over the weekend asking Twitter users if he should step down. The majority voted yes. Elon Musk on Tuesday claimed he will resign as CEO of Twitter once he has found a replacement. I will resign as CEO as soon as I find someone foolish enough to take the job. After that, I will just run the software and servers teams, the billionaire tweeted. On Sunday, Musk posted a poll on the social media platform asking users if he should step down as its head, and said he would abide by the results. More than 17.5 million votes were cast. A majority, 57.5%, voted yes. Shortly after posting the poll, Musk had said he did not have anyone lined up to take over. No one wants the job who can actually keep Twitter alive. There is no successor, he tweeted. Musk appointed himself CEO less than 2 months ago, shortly after finalizing his $44 billion takeover of Twitter at the end of October. He immediately dissolved the company's board of directors, fired top executives, and laid off around half the company's workforce. Since then, the self-avowed free speech absolutist has made a long list of erratic changes to the company's policies, including those pertaining to content moderation, suspended users, and promotion of competitors. He has recently made and then reversed decisions, seemingly on personal whims, and enacted major changes on the platform based on yes or no Twitter polls. Last week, he attracted enormous backlash after Twitter suddenly and without explanation suspended several prominent tech journalists who had reported on him. He later accused them of effectively sharing his assassination coordinates by reporting on a Twitter account that tracked his private plane's flights.
Amazing job with this lesson. Now, you can look in the description or look in the comment section below to find the link where you can download the free lesson PDF that summarizes everything we learned in this lesson. And if you found this lesson helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe. And before you go, make sure you head on over to my website, JForrestEnglish.com, and download your free speaking guide. In this guide, I share 6 tips on how to help you speak English fluently and confidently. And until next time, happy studying!